This is Gamer Weekly, bringing you the latest of what the video game scene has to offer. On today's show, I have Ben Droste of 100 Stones Interactive, and we're going to be talking about his game, Eyes of Ara. And welcome to another episode of Gamer Weekly. With me today is Ben Droste of 100 Stones Interactive. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. Coming all the way from Australia. Have you had any... Okay, I know that you probably get this question every single time that you tell somebody that you're from Australia, but have you ever had a kangaroo in your front yard?
Not in my front yard.
Backyard?
I actually used to live a little bit out of the city, and where I used to go and play basketball at a local sports club, there used to be kangaroos bouncing around in the paddock next door.
Is it dangerous to approach a kangaroo? Because I feel like it probably is.
It can be, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. They got some big claws on them.
What is the most terrifying Australian thing? Like, what is like the most? Because I've heard that every animal in Australia is like out to kill you.
Yeah, most of them. Most of them are up north though, which are pretty good. They're all like up in North Queensland. So if you're up there, you're in danger. Everywhere else, you're reasonably safe. But you get some pretty deadly snakes and spiders around here, and the drop bears.
Is there usually something that like can slither into your home that you? I don't know. Like, does that happen often? Like, do you see like the deadliest snake just crawling by the front yard, going, "Oh, hey, look at that thing"?
I'm sure it does out in the country, but I live in the suburbs or in the city, so it's pretty safe where I am. But yeah, you hear a lot of stories from the country towns where there's like deadly spiders living under toilet seats, that sort of stuff.
So that is a legit thing. Like, that is a thing. So if anyone goes to Australia, be careful of toilet spiders, for sure.
Yeah. Just stick to the cities, you'll be fine.
Gotcha. Okay. I will heed the warning there. I will make sure that I do not go anywhere near any countries. The moment I don't see buildings anymore, I'm going to make sure that I am well armed to the T. But we didn't come here for crazy Australian nightmare creatures. We came here for your guys' game that just came out. You said it was Tuesday. Eyes of Ara.
Mm-hmm. So
this game, it's a adventure game?
Yeah. Adventure puzzle game. Yeah.
So, for people that aren't familiar with this game, what is it exactly? What goes on in this game?
So, the basic premise is you play as a radio technician who's been contracted to go into the castle and shut down a radio broadcast that's begun emanating from somewhere within the castle. The castle is supposed to have been abandoned over a decade ago. So no one really knows why the signal's coming out. No one really wants to go in and find out, because there's a lot of dark and unsettling rumors about the place. So you're the unfortunate person who's been contracted to go in and find out what's going on.
And so, looking at the game, it looks like there's a very strong influence of Myst in there. Was that intentional, or is that kind of just like
Yeah, that's a fair thing to say. And it's the same genre as Myst. And I wanted to sort of capture that sense of exploration and wonder that Myst had. But at the same time, I wanted to make a much more modern game than what Myst was. Myst is very, very old now. And it wasn't the first of its kind, but it was, among the first of its kind. And games have come a long way since then. So I wanted to make something a bit more modern. I wanted to incorporate a bit more recent game design techniques, and I wanted to incorporate ideas from other genres that I enjoyed growing up and over my career. So I've tried to make it less more focus on the actual puzzles and the interaction within the environment than Myst had. So there's a lot more hands-on sort of tactile feedback to the puzzles, a lot more like twisting and turning of things and manipulating things. So it's less point and click and more actual hands-on manipulation. And the level design itself is also designed to be a bit more complex and sort of interconnected as well. So it's a bit more of a elaborate complete game, I suppose, than the old Myst games.
So how do you come up with the puzzles for this game?
It mostly just starts on paper. Have an idea, sketch it down, see if I can sort of work out an idea, and then put it in, grey box it, so it's done with literally grey boxes in the game. So no textures, no models or anything, and then see if it get the code working, see if it plays well, get some people to test it, and if that all works, then I do the art for it and put it in the game. It's basically the process. And some of them arise as a result of having done other puzzles. So I might make one, and then it's in there and it works well. I think, hey, if I change this a bit, I can make a variation of this, which is interesting in its own unique way, and sort of adapt that and expand on it, which is really fun.
And so, what has influenced the art style and stuff for Eyes of Ara?
A lot of it's my own personal experience. I've been to Europe a few times, so I'm a big fan of the architecture and the castles over there. It's a bit of in the game, it's a bit of a mismatch of various styles. There's not really one particular one, but yeah. Also, other games, like I'm a huge Elder Scrolls fan, so I wanted to capture that sort of grandeur that they do occasionally, or often.
So is there going to be any guards that are going to tell you to stop with the tomfoolery?
Well, there's no characters in the game. That's the other thing. I'm an environment artist by trade. My background is as a senior 3D environment artist and level designer. So when it came to making this, it was a game about environments and telling the story through the environments and having the gameplay focus on the environment. So I left characters out entirely, pretty much entirely because I don't do characters. That wasn't my skill set. But also because it allowed me to focus on what I enjoy doing, which is making worlds. So yeah.
So okay, because what like were you ever to the point where you considered having characters and then like you tried it and it kind of didn't work right, or was it just like straight up the moment you started you're like I don't want people in this?
Yeah, straight up. It was. I'm not a character artist. I knew I wouldn't be able to do them to a quality standard I would deem acceptable. So I decided not to have them in there. So the story is all sort of told. It's set in the present, but you discover the story by discovering what happened in the past. So you're there to sort of piece together the sequence of events, and how those events in the past relate to the events currently happening in the present. So there are characters of a sort in the game, but they're not human characters. They're not humanoids. They don't have limbs. They're not animating around with bones and complex animations and character models that I don't know how to do.
And so, if you had to describe kind of like the feeling of the game, is it more of like a fantasy kind of game, or is there like elements of horror? Since you're like the only person in this building, is there just more of like there's always that lurking, eerie kind of feeling to it, or how would you describe it?
Yeah. So the game starts off. It's not a horror game. I'm going to be very clear about that. It's a mystery game. So it starts off, and you're meant to feel a little bit unsettled by the place and not really sure of what's going on. So I want people to feel like there is some presence in the castle watching them, and they don't know what it is, and they don't know whether it's benign or evil or friendly or what. And then over the course of the game, it's sort of up to them to sort of piece it all together and figure out how it relates to them and whether it's dangerous or not, that sort of thing. So it's the feeling I want to capture most of all is a kind of sense of mystery and exploration. I want people to thoroughly rummage through the rooms and search for things and explore around the castle, figure out its layout, figure out where all the secret passages are and how it all connects, and uncover all the secrets as they do it.
Just grab as many things as you possibly can, and hopefully, if you throw enough items at whatever it is, you might actually solve the puzzle.
Well, I've tried to avoid having too many items. There are a lot of hidden collectibles, but they're all sort of optional pickups, just for people who like to get 100% completionist type people, like me. So in many ways, I made this game for myself. But there's also items you use in solving the puzzles, and I've been very, very restricted in I restricted myself in how many I would allow myself to put into the game in that respect. So the inventory is only 6 slots in total, and that was a conscious decision to ensure that I would never design a level that had millions of items everywhere, because I thought that was a bit boring. I would rather focus on the actual puzzles than collecting keys or whatever.
You just end up with a giant trash pile in your inventory. You kept chairs from like 3 rooms ago that you thought you needed, but it turns out that it was just kind of just supposed to just be there.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing I really want to avoid. Yeah, you can only pick up stuff you can actually use. So if you pick up an item, it means it will be used somewhere. It's not like you just pick up everything, like all the junk and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's definitely been a very style of adventure games. There's like the hardcore adventure games that are kind of like Myst, where it's very doesn't really seem like you know what you're doing. Like maybe as time goes on while you're playing it, the game kind of becomes a little bit more clear. But for the most part, it kind of just plops you in. You're like, what does any of this mean? And then you have other games that I guess are more of like the visual novel, or not visual novel. There's like the walking simulator games, kind of like Gone Home and Vanishing of Ethan Carter and stuff, where it's straight line. You pick up things, but it kind of just tells a story a little bit. So where do you see like the adventure genre going? Do you kind of just see it kind of just moving back and forth how it's been over the years, or how do you see it?
I think it's going to keep branching like that. If we pointed to Myst as one of the early ones for the 3D exploration adventure game anyway, so ignoring like the 2D ones like Monkey Island and stuff, but I guess it has kind of expanded out into the walking simulator, which has taken a lot from first-person shooters. You've got the Myst-style ones, which are the more fewer puzzles on a grander scale sort of thing. And then you've got games like, say, The Room on iOS, which distill it down to its core elements, I suppose. So it's less about exploring a world and more about just solving a series of complex puzzles. I think it's going to keep branching out. And then the base level, then you get like the hidden object games on mobile, which I think sort of take the genre too far away from gameplay. But, they're very popular and people enjoy them. So as long as people like where the genre branches into, I think it'll keep branching.
I was about to say, the ones that are like the hidden object game just kind of reminds me of like the those highlight magazines that would always be like in the doctor's office. And you're like, okay, cool, Here's the tree branch. Here's the cane that's in the tree. It's always things in the tree. Because there was a game that was like that I played with my girlfriend, because she doesn't really play video games, but it was one of the few games that she actually looked at me playing and was like, oh, cool, I want to play this too. And she starts tapping the screen, finding everything. I'm like, you got to save a couple for me. Like, what's going on here? But so if people want to find Eyes of Ara, where is the best place?
The best place to find it would be at www.eyesofara.com. And that has links to the Steam store, the Humble store, and, those 2 stores. And some information about the game and the trailer, and that sort of thing. I'm also on Facebook at 100 Stones Interactive, and on Twitter at 100 Stones Games. And I post on both those regularly, every day. So always got new links of videos and Let's Plays or whatever coming through of people playing the game.
And there you have it, guys. Definitely check out Eyes of Ara. Game's pretty cool. And thank you so much for listening to Gamer Weekly. And if you enjoy gaming stuff, we also have a new show called Games and Stuff. And they also have a dailies thing that goes on Monday through Friday. So it's a little short snippet of everything that they do as well. Once again, Ben, thank you so much for getting back with me and coming onto the show. And,
no worries. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for getting up early in the morning to do this. But
it's only 9 o'clock. It's fine.
That's everybody gets up at that point, right? Yeah.
The problem was definitely the launch party last night. That's made it difficult, but I'm here. It's all good. Had fun.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye. Thank you for listening to this week's Gamer Weekly. This is Justin Bannister signing off.